the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, yummy.
Minutes to go. Oh, wait. We're hearing it now. The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner and see what happens.
With the fifth pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama.
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.
What is up, Straight Talk Society? This is your host, Trevor, and I am back with another episode of Beyond the Scoreboard, the post-game show for the hometown team, Miami Dolphins. I'm just going to tell you like this. This is not going to be long, but this is going to be direct to the point. All the Miami Dolphins had to do was go 500 while Tua was out. All winnable games, all games that they could have won. And to go out and lay an egg like they laid today against a subpar team, not even a subpar team, because the Colts are as pedestrian as you can get. But they came away with the win, so they're better than the Dolphins. But to lose to that team after you were up 10-0, but again, terrible coaching, allowed them to get 3 yards before the time expired. Then with Jason Sanders missing that kick, there's a difference in your game right there. Peace of Keela, the greatest moderator in the building. I think I saw Big Mike. It's 25 of y'all watching right now. Those of you watching over on Twitter, go and drop a comment. Let me know that you hear me loud and clear. Shout out to Thinking Black in the building. Before I do go on, I do want to give a special shout out to producer extraordinaire Venkat. Today is his birthday. So happy birthday to Venkat, man. And we appreciate everything that you've done and do for the Straight Talk Society. Also, shout out to you for being the one to push me to come and do this. So let's get into the Dolphins, man. Again, just a pedestrian team. I mean, you can't. There's really even no need to get into the stats or anything, because what I saw was just just pedestrian. The game opens, Indy goes a 3-and-out. Miami has a 3-and-out. Then Miami's second drive, they start to lean heavy on the run game. Raheem Mostert, Devon A-Chain mixing it up, getting some good chunk yards. They went on an 11-play drive, took about 5.5 minutes, touchdown to Jonnu Smith. So the one bright spot in this game today was Jonnu Smith. He was all over the field. They were using him in packages that I heard about, but it just felt like Huntley was very comfortable with Jonnu Smith. So after that, it was pretty much just, all downhill, because the next drive, Miami's offense just stalled out again, just looking so out of sync. Clock man, you know what I'm going to say? Clock management again. Here we are. The play is getting in with 3 seconds left on the play clock. Mike McDaniel has to burn a timeout because there's no communication between him and his quarterback. I'm gonna say this statement emphatically. Tua returns next week, which I'll be at that game. Tua returns next week, and it's gonna be up to Tua to save Mike McDaniel's job, because you have shown me that you can't coach in adversity. If you don't have Tua, your offense goes to shit. You're supposed to be this great big offensive genius, this great offensive guru. You come from Kyle Shanahan's tree. You're supposed to be this great a motivator of men. Would you tell me how come the 2 highest paid receivers in the NFL didn't get a catch until 6 minutes in the third quarter and two minutes left in the fourth quarter? You couldn't write up a play to get those guys the ball? But you're the genius. When Tua comes back, Tua now has the weight of the season on his shoulder, and he also has Mike McDaniel's job and Chris Greer's job on his shoulders, because listen, if the Dolphins don't finish this season with a winning record, blow the whole shit up. Blow everything up. Start over. Trade Tyreek Hill. See what you could get for Waddle. Get rid of Chubb. Just blow the whole shit up. It did not work, because I can't subject myself every week to watch this such subpar football. This is beyond pedestrian football. My God, what we're watching on the field from the Dolphins is absolute shit. I said it last week. I think that this team might be worse than the 2007 Dolphins, because at least the 2007 Dolphins averaged a little under 20 points a game. This team is averaging 11. So this team might be a little bit more worse than that 2007 team led by Cam Cameron with all this talent on the team. I got notes, but let's see. So, inside the 5-yard line, Miami's inside the 5, threatening to score. False start. They go backwards. Then Huntley gets sacked. No. This is where Mike McDaniel called the timeout. So coming out of the timeout, Huntley then gets sacked, and then they fall out of like the goal line to go, but they do the dump off pass to Jonnu Smith, who again, Jonnu Smith was the MVP of this game. He was all over the field, tight end screens, everything, anything you could imagine he was doing. He was the offense today. Jonnu Smith was the offense. Let's see. So then Indianapolis gets the ball back, and they just commenced to gashing the Dolphins. They didn't even have their starting running back, but they just commenced to gashing the Dolphins. I mean, just gashing the Dolphins with runs. And for some reason, the Dolphins just do not know how to tackle. Anthony Richardson, when I saw that Anthony Richardson was playing, I was like, oh, crap. I wish it was Flacco, because at least he's not as mobile. The Dolphins can't tackle worth a damn. They were literally just doing design runs, because Anthony Richardson is inaccurate as hell. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Colts are any world beaters, because they're not. But the fact that the Dolphins couldn't beat that team, when all you had to do is beat that team, you were up 10-0. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, boy, whoever hits 14 first is probably going to win this game, just because you could see the way that it was going. It literally, you got the end of the half. You clearly have them shaking. You could go in with a 10-0 lead, and you get the ball back coming out of the half. They give up a 33-yard strike down the middle of the field. The Colts go in and hit a 52-yard field goal to make it 10-3. Then Miami comes out in the second half and absolutely nothing. Just absolutely nothing. They just give the ball right back to the Colts. I mean, the defense, this is hard for me because I can't criticize the defense that much. When you're playing with such a anemic offense, such a piss poor offense, at some point you're going to break. There was a lot of times that they got the Colts off the field. They got the Colts in a lot of 3rd and longs. Because again, Anthony Richardson at one point was 5 for 15. So he literally wasn't hitting anything. The defense was on his ass. They just couldn't tackle him. For whatever reason, they just could not tackle him. They forced the fumble. So the defense was doing their thing. But again, Miami continues to get haunted with the pre-snap penalties. They set a stat in the game that of the Dolphins, all the Dolphins penalties this year, 60% of them are pre-snap. Well, that reared his ugly head today because Raheem Mostert, nice 31-yard rush, called back, holding on Eichenberg. There was one point in the game. I got my notes, but I'm not even looking at this shit. So what? There was a point in the game where there was literally 3 penalties back to back. How is that even possible? How can a team be so undisciplined? How can a team be so unprepared? That's all on coaching. That is all on Mike McDaniel. That is 100% on Mike McDaniel. And the fact that you still won't tweak this offense for the quarterback that you have, not the quarterback that you want. You're still playing Tua's offense without Tua. You can't do that. You got to play to the strengths of these quarterbacks. And poor Tyler Huntley, I mean, he was trying to do his thing, but he couldn't get his feet set at all. Again, he's not the answer. And he ended up getting hurt in the third quarter. He took a shoulder injury. I don't even know what the diagnosis is, but he had a shoulder injury. Braxton Berrios shouldn't be on this team. He does nothing in the kicking game. He got injured on a kick return that he probably shouldn't have brought out of the end zone. But he was just trying to make something happen, just trying to give some type of spark. He hadn't given us a spark since he's been over here. So truth of the matter is, I don't know why the hell he's taking up a roster spot. You got Odell Beckham back. You don't need that receiver. You have Malik Washington. You don't need Braxton Berrios as receiver number 6 on the team. You don't need that. Like this is insanity that every week I had to sit here and hold out hope that, oh man, they're going to hold a fort just enough so that when Tua comes back, he could right the ship. I don't think Tua's going to right this ship. As much as I hate to admit it, I don't think Tua's going to right this ship at all. I think this ship has sunk. The ship has absolutely sunk. This will probably go down as the most underachieving team ever. And it is hurting me to say this, man, because I had this team in the Super Bowl this year, but their performance, their lack of effort, you could see they literally give up. I mean, the play calling is still terrible. You're running jet sweeps with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill gets hurt every time you run a jet sweep. So let's do it again. They can nothing. Again, the only bright spot is Jonnu Smith. The run game was doing good. The run game almost had 200 yards, and a lot of that, they would have had a lot more, but there was, a lot of that got called back with penalties. Jalen Wright, the rookie running back, he continues to show nice bursts when he gets in. He came in and just started running the ball like crazy, running straight through the tackles, which A-Chain doesn't do. A-Chain will not hit those, will not run between the tackles at all. Everything A-Chain does is to the outside. Everything is to the outside. So it seems like the play takes so long to develop. Everything Mostert does, Mostert runs between the tackles. But they do have him on a snap count. I understand that. But right now, I would my feature backs right now would be Mostert and Jalen Wright. I mean, you could use A-Chain in other packages. Use him as a third receiver or something like that. You know, have him motioning out. You know, and now more than ever, it is showing the Dolphins do not have a big receiver. The Dolphins has good receivers, but they don't have a big body. They don't have a big body that when the game's on the line, you could throw that bitch down the field and this guy will go up over everybody and get it. You don't have that guy on the team. You have a bunch of great, small, fast receivers, but the speed has been figured out. Like the NFL legit figured out the Dolphins offense. They legit figured out how to stop the Dolphins. And it is showing every week where the Dolphins could barely score 10 points because they are getting manhandled in the trenches. I mean, no pass blocking. It's just ridiculous, man. When you see, hell, I just watched, you know, the ending of a fantastic game between the Lions, you know, the Lions and the Vikings. Two teams that at one point were the Dolphins, were piss poor teams, but they made good draft picks. They solidified their lines. They have big receivers, something that the Dolphins don't have. And this is what we get from that. This is what you will continue to get from that. So I want everybody to apologize to Tua and saying, oh, it was Mike McDaniel's offense that had him the way he was. No, Tua made Mike McDaniel's offense. Mike McDaniel's offense doesn't work without Tua. Mike McDaniel's offense is shit without Tua. Mike McDaniel's offense can't beat a college team right now without Tua. And that's just the truth of the matter. Like, literally, that's the truth of the matter. The Dolphins right now are maybe one step up from the Patriots. And I'd have to look at the Patriots to see who's better. You know, I mean, I know we got the win against the Patriots, but so what? That team sucks just as bad. But the Dolphins may be in the cellar dweller positions as the Patriots. Like, this is insanity that the Dolphins are this bad, that we have to, you know, and we as fans who's spending all the money, you got to demand better. You got to demand better from this team, man. This is, I mean, Stephen Ross wants to win. You got to demand better. This is insane that this team could, week after week, coming off of a bye, and this is what you put out against that team. It's not even like you're playing a good team. If you came off a bye and you're like, oh, man, you got to play Buffalo, then, you know, you put up this performance because Buffalo owns the Dolphins. But you play the Colts. The Colts suck. The Colts are not a good team. The Colts are just as bad as the Dolphins. And you come out with that type of performance. I mean, Jalen Ramsey with 2 cornerback blitzes, they did cause Richardson to fumble, but they overturned it on the field. You know, that is his arm going forward is not, you know, that's really starting to bother me, because even in the Hurricanes game yesterday, they had that same play where they called it a fumble on the field for a touchdown, and then they reviewed it and said, oh, no, his arm was coming forward. That's, you know, it's starting to get a little out of control with that arm coming forward business. But nevertheless, the Colts ended up punting instead of Miami having the ball, you know, inside the 20. So the defense, again, I give the defense credit. Listen, the defense gave up 16 points. 9 of those were field goals. So you give up 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. Any offense that's worth its salt, you should win that game. Especially when you were the number 1 offense in the NFL last year. You should easily win that game. If your defense can hold a team to 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, you're winning that game 80% of the time. But the Dolphins always find that 20%, that hidden 20%. They're like, oh, man, we're going to focus on the 20% because we want to find a way to lose this game. What do I always say? The Dolphins always find a way to snatch defeat from the hands of victory. Every time. They always do it, man. It's crazy. So I do have in here the lack of urgency. This was Huntley. There was a minute left on the clock, and Miami has literally wasted 20 seconds before they got the next playoff. 20 seconds before they got the next playoff. Just unacceptable. Unacceptable. In the first half, Waddle and Tyreek Hill, this many targets. 0 targets. 0 targets for your receivers that got these big money extensions. 0 targets in the first half. Jalen Waddle didn't get a catch until 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Tyreek Hill got his first catch with 90 seconds left in the game. Unacceptable. This is absolutely unacceptable. You can't have that type of talent and speed on the field, and you're supposed to be an offensive genius, an offensive guru, and you can't find a way to get those guys integrated into the scheme of things. Mike McDaniel, you get a big F for this game. You get an absolute F for this game. You get absolute F so far for this season, because you had me fooled. You had me fooled when everybody was telling me, "Oh, you're not that good of a coach." I was like, "Oh my God, look what he did for Tua." Hell, I even clipped the phone call where you told Tua that he should thank you because you're going to save his career. When truth of the matter is, Tua was the one who made you look so much better than what you were, because he was able to run that offense. Now without Tua, that offense is shit. You can't do anything. Huntley got hurt. Tim Boyle comes in. Tim Boyle looked like a deer in headlights. He didn't know what the hell he was doing, and I can't blame him. Again, the man's put in a terrible position. Practice squad quarterback being elevated as the backup. Nobody figured Huntley to go down. But, you know, it is what it is. You should always be ready. Outlaw 77 says McDaniel needs to put that one cop on payroll that hypes the team up every week. Yeah, he needs to do something, man, because this ain't it, man. This is not it. This is not it. Like, we are literally watching the team. Listen, I said this last show. The Dolphins scored 70 on Denver in week 3. The Dolphins haven't scored 70 points combined in 6 games. Think about what I just said. This team has completely just gone south, man. What was Mike saying? Let me see. I warned you when you were laughing at my Giants, and I told you karma would come in. Hey, man, hey, listen, man. It looked like I might have to crack this bottle of 1800 open for other reasons, because these guys, man, the Dolphins give you liver problems. They make you drink. Let's get into these stats, man, so I can get out of here, because I mean, there's nothing to talk about with this team. Nothing. Tyler Huntley was 7-13 for 87 yards and a touchdown. Tim Boyle 8 for 13, 74 yards. Devon Achane 15 carries, 77 yards, 5.1 average. Raheem Mostert 11 carries, 50 yards, 4.5 yards average. Jalen Wright 5 carries, 33 yards, 6.6 yards average. So the running backs were running, and keep in mind, Mostert got a 31-yard run called back. So that would have been, had that stood, he would have been more so at 7 yards a carry, 8 yards a carry. So the run game was good. They did focus. They focused on the run game, but man, once the Colts saw that, they just put 8 in the box and was like, hell, you're not going to throw the ball. And there was a lot of drops. Huntley threw a nice pass on the sideline to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill just got lost in the lights. He lost the ball. He didn't know where the hell the ball was. That would have been, he could have took that for a huge gain. He may have been out of bounds just at the angle that he was going. Speaking of Tyreek Hill, so receiving yards, Jonnu Smith, 7 receptions, 96 yards, 13.7 yards average, 1 touchdown. Alec Ingold, one catch, 25 yards. Alec Ingold, normally Mr. Shorehand, got stopped on the 3rd and 1, and he fumbled the ball. in a key possession, fumbled the ball, just coughed it up. Raheem Mostert fumbled the ball, had it just punched out. So ball security was a big problem in today's game. But even with the turnovers, they still had enough to beat this team. This team is no good. The Colts suck. The Colts are not a good football team, and they somehow find a way to beat the Dolphins. Jalen Waddle, 1 catch, 11 yards. 1 catch. Jalen Waddle, since he's been in the NFL, averages 90 receptions a year. Jalen Waddle, I doubt, has maybe 10 this year. It's that bad. 1 catch, 11 yards, and that came with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Malik Washington, 2 catches, 9 yards. A-Chain, 2 catches, 8 yards. Tyreek Hill, 1,700 yards receiving last year. Tyreek Hill had 1 catch for 8 yards. 1 catch for 8 yards. And that 1 catch came with 90 seconds left in the game. Hear what I'm saying? 90 seconds. Right now, Tyreek Hill has 23 receptions, 286 yards, and 1 touchdown with a 12.4 yard per catch average. 286 yards on 23 receptions. Tyreek Hill had 200 yards receiving in 1 game last year. Hear what I'm saying to you. Hear why I'm getting so frustrated. The fall off on this is crazy. So I don't want to hear anybody tell me, oh, look at the glass half full. No, there is no glass half full. This is no glass half full situation. This team is ass. This team is ass. Really, really, really ass. And that's all I can say about it. That's the nicest way I could put it. This team is 100% ass. Let's get into this to the team stats. Miami again, though. Miami had 337 total yards to the Colts 284, 149 yards passing, 188 yards rushing. Again, they called 31 yards back on Mostert, so that would have been over 200 yards rushing. Miami gave up 2 sacks, punted 6 times. Let's see. Miami was 6 of 15 on third downs, 0 for 1 on fourth downs, 68 total plays, 31 minutes total time of possession to Indy's 28 minutes time of possession. So Miami was better on third down and had the ball longer and still only mustered 10 points. 10 points. 10 points. Yeah, thinking black, absolutely. They could play 8 in the box when you got Tyreek Hill and Waddle on the field. And don't forget Odell Beckham dropping the ball twice. So you got Beckham, Waddle, and Hill on the field, and the opposing defense still doesn't respect you enough, and they're still going to put 8 in the box and dare you to beat them with your arm. They wouldn't do Tua like that because Tua would pick them apart. You know, speaking of Tua will be back next week. He'll be back for the Arizona Cardinal game again. Like I say, I'll be at that game, so probably won't be on any Beyond the Scoreboard next week unless I do it when I get home to give you the live reaction from the game. But this Tua, man, I remember when I was in the whole tank for Tua thing, somebody told me, they were like, man, don't put all that pressure on Tua. And I find myself, here we are again, 4 years later, putting all this pressure on Tua. Tua, we need you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, I'm a fan of old movies. I'm an 80s baby. I think it was Superman 2. I think, yes, it was Superman 1 or 2, one of the two of them, where, yeah, Superman 1, because it was General Zod. I'm talking about the 80s Superman, not this new stuff. General Zod, they had the president locked up and, you know, in plans to take over the world. And the president looked into the camera and said, Superman, where are you? Superman, we need you. Well, right now, I'm looking into the camera and saying, Tua, We need you. Tua, come save the Miami Dolphins. Tua, please come and save our season. Save us, Tua. On behalf of all the Miami Dolphin fans that hated you and constantly talk crap about you, I apologize for them, for them being so stupid. Tua, come and save the Miami Dolphins. Because if not, this might go down in history as the worst Miami Dolphins team of all time. Before I get out of here, I do want to go through the scores of the games right now. Where are we? Okay, so we're in week. Week 7. So the Thursday night game, you did have the Broncos putting the beat down on the Saints 33-10. The London game today, Jacksonville put the beat down on the Patriots. Hell, Jacksonville might as well just stay in London. That's crazy. They just played 2 back-to-back games in London. They may as well just stay there. I think they probably get better attendance overseas anyway, but they're 32-16 winners over the Patriots. The Lions, man, come from behind, thrilling victory over the Vikings. See, there's 2 offenses that I can get into. 31-29 winners over the Vikings. Buffalo puts the beat down on the Tennessee Titans 34-10. The home team, Miami Football Dolphins, with the colossal letdown again, 16-10 losers to the Colts. The Seahawks 34-14 winners over the Falcons. MD, where are you? The Texans couldn't pull it out. 2-point losers to the Packers, 24-22. The Bengals 21-14 winners over the Browns. Deshaun Watson, they showed the still of his Achilles being blown out. Non-contact either. Like literally he was just dropping back for a pass and you saw it snap. So he's done for the season. Man, wow. How the hell are they going to recoup that $230 million? The Eagles put the beats on the Giants 28-3. Right now in the late games, you have the Raiders 3-0 over the Rams. The Commanders up 17-0 over the Panthers. Chiefs and 49ers are tied up. Tonight's game will be the Jets and the Steelers. And tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, you have the Bucks versus the Ravens. Oh, there's a doubleheader Monday night. So you have the Bucks versus the Ravens and the Chargers versus the Cardinals. So that is the slate that we have on the football docket, man. Let me see. I bet Dolphin fans won't talk about him now. You know what, Mike? They'll still do it because so here's what's going to happen. Let me pull up this schedule real quick. I'm gonna tell you, Dolphin fans, Mike, typical Florida sports fan. So we have the Cardinals. Oh boy, we got the Cardinals, we got Buffalo, we got the Rams, the Raiders, and the Patriots again. So let's say Tua comes in there and we go on a tear and win 4 of those 5. You know what they're going to say? They're going to be like, oh man, some people got healthy, or people started to click. They won't give the credit to Tua. They won't give the credit to Tua at all. And with that, that's just what infuriates me. Listening to Dolphins sports, that's why I stopped listening to sports talk radio, because I can't stand listening to the local fans. They literally don't make sense. I don't understand how they could criticize this guy when we've had 25 starting quarterbacks since Dan Marino. You finally got a guy that actually shows you like he could take the reins and lead you somewhere, and they have done nothing but criticize him. Nothing but criticize him. When the proof is in the pudding, as long as he's upright, we win. We score. We put on exciting football. When he's not upright and he's not playing, then you get this. Hey, I'm out of here, man. See you guys next week. I may do something next week when we get home after the game. Hopefully the Dolphins could win in Tua's return. So Florida fans even equal a group of Kevins. Hey man, Florida sports fans are fickle, man. They're fickle, very, very fickle. In the words of Daniel Bryan, they're fickle fans. But hey, man, like I said, man, appreciate you guys coming over, man. All you guys watching over on Twitter, go ahead and like up the video, man. Those of you watching on YouTube, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hey, with all that being said, man, I am out of here. But I speak collectively for the Dolphin fans when we say this.
Because I know somewhere deep down in my heart, I still love you.